There's always money in the banana stand. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails, a Grand Arena story. Folks, we are in match 2 of the current week in 3v3. I won my last one, and I am definitely going for top 10 this season again, even though the last 2 seasons have ended in abject failure, going 11-1 and 12-2 respectively. We're back in 3v3, and this is my best shot to go undefeated. I've been pretty good in this mode. Frankly, if I know that that's maybe a tiny bit super cocky, or maybe just extremely a tiny bit cocky. I don't know. I don't know how that works, how the sizing works and whatnot, the apparatus, but that said, folks, this was a cool match. My opponent was really cool. Huge shout out to my opponent. I'm so bad at names, I already forgot, but we'll see it in just a minute, actually. And they reached out right away, asked me if there was any teams I wanted them to place on defense to make a better stream. They offered to attack before I did my attacks, so that makes life so much nicer for a gamer, for like a streamer, I should say. So huge shout out to my opponent. Thank you so much for doing that. That puts my mind at ease quite a bit, just so then I don't have to worry about them watching to see what my back zone is and then making the game all lopsided and weird for planning. So that being said, folks, let's get to the fighting. Before we do that, just want to say thank you all so much for your help with the algorithm stuff. If you wanted to hit the button for, the thumbs up, if you want to hit the all the different things, hit, push, click, the sub button, the like button, the comments, it really helps us with the algorithm. It's been growing this channel so much. You really can't thank you enough. So that being said, folks, let's actually get to the fighting, as Gig would say, and see how this match went. Alright, so they did indeed attack first. Let's rewind for just a minute, folks. Here we go. Okay, so Matt B is my opponent's name. And alright, so they attacked first, and okay, good. I was able to pause. Thank goodness that worked. There's the little things in life, folks, like the ability to pause. Now, so here are my defenses. You can't see it here, but my General Skywalker team actually got a hold. My opponent took out the other 2 clones, but they failed against, I don't know what they used, but they failed against General Skywalker, so that was nice. And there we go. They beat Supreme Leader Kylo pretty easy. They beat everything pretty easy, actually, other than that General Skywalker. In the back, however, they kind of ran into problems. They failed against Commander Luke, and the rest of the teams they one-shot for fairly good banners, but they couldn't beat Commander Luke. They went 4 in and just couldn't do it. On the bottom, all one-shots you guys can't see once again, so I kind of apologize. And in the back, we also have fleets. He one-shot them, but you'll note here now that we don't see any Galactic Legends, and just a quick look at what my opponent was doing on offense in other rounds. Even in 5v5, he keeps all of his Galactic Legends, and so I didn't really scout that much. I've just, like I said, my life has been very busy. It's been a little bit hectic, and so I didn't really scout, which is new for me. But that being said, folks, we have a match to win. So they put Grievous with T3 and HK, which I thought was kind of a cool idea. T3 had both Zetas, so all that armor penetration and stuff for other droids. I was actually a little bit concerned, but we're using Mothra, and I don't know, this is a Relic. Was this a Relic 8 Grievous? I forget. I think maybe they just had a Relic 8 General Skywalker, and I'm just confusing things. But That being said, we got to take out T3 first because T3 provides all those buffs, but all those buffs go away once T3 is down. And then HK, obviously, I mean, he's just going to... Now I can't remember. I think he can assign the mark to any droid. So just got to take out the droids first, and then the long slog to take out Grievous. And I tried something new today. I tried an early heal for Mothra. The second we had the heal ability ready, once he had done an AoE, and so I was trying to just hustle my guys, trying to see if maybe I could get another big heal for her, but as it stands, she actually was able to just barely heal everyone, and I got a 54, so that was pretty fancy. And now we get to face some more challenging foes, such as Galactic Legend Nute. Man, he is such a menace. This team actually has a huge, you'd be surprised. So against Jedi Revan teams, this team last 3v3 season, actually had a, I think Jedi Revan had an 80%, not even quite 80% win rate against this specific comp. And there's only one team that isn't one of like the big, really awesome teams that actually beats this with efficiency, and that is Bosk Bounty Hunters. And otherwise, this team beats like a ton of things. I think Padme has a less than 60% win rate against it. And so you want to mark that B1 first, because you can't do damage to Jango initially anyways. And so he's going to set you on fire. He's going to try. You could see that he almost one-shot my poor Grandmaster Yoda. Of course, I would have had Savior trigger, so that would have been okay. But then, once you take out B1, Jango's probably available for death, and you can just take him out. You don't want to make the mistake. Don't just say, oh, their Nute's weak, let's take him out, because he'll just pretend to die, he'll pseudo-die, and then he'll put his he'll put a jihad on you. No, he'll... Wow, I'm starting to drawl. I've never done that before, and I hope never to again. But he'll put his extortion on you, and then if you already have extortion, things get out of control. And so he comes last, Galactic Legend Nute, man. He is a menace. He is super tough to take out, and using Jedi Revan is actually, it doesn't seem like it, but it's actually a pretty fair trade. So happy to get okay banners against it at least. And now we're up against it again, guys. This one, get ready for a clench. This one is super scary. Look at how difficult it is for me to actually get Anakin's health or protection down. And like it's just not, we're not doing too well. He's pretty quick, and he has a lot of protection. Look at how close Chewie was to death. Luckily, we can trigger Bam's ability to do that damage immunity. We did it kind of early this time, and so, alright, the idea here, I'm shooting... I shot Echo there so that Arc wasn't going to shoot me back, because that was the last thing I wanted, was more damage on me. And so you set Whistling Birds up right now, so that a little bit later, once Bam stands up, hopefully you can at least just use Whistling Birds. At least just use them. 12 Whistling Birds, got the 49, and thank goodness. Chewie, if he had been Relic 6, would have been dead. Relic 7 Chewie, though, a little bit more hardy. Now, this is a team we're going to be seeing a lot more of. Now that Dengar is a requirement for the Executor, or Executor, whatever you want to call it. If you want to be proper, don't say Executrix though. Dengar is pretty good lead. He reduces your crit damage by 50%, and so what we're doing here is Cara's tough to take out, and she reduces all this turn meter. Dengar, he just hides in the shadows. He goes into stealth, whatever, and he goes into hiding, and he's throwing grenades. He's tough to take out. He's relicked now, so he's even harder to take out. And you put Nest in there, so they're both stealthed here. So you're only hitting Nest, but I will say, so that this team is good, but if you can spare Traya, which I always say, if there is a team in the front zone that Traya can take out and have a good advantage against, then always just take Traya. It's very worthwhile. She's not a world beater these days. she's not much of anything. She's just a withered old husk. No, she serves her purpose, but if you can find something that you can get a 52 with, because frankly, if you get more than that is possible. Sometimes you end up with a 53 or 54, depending on how your bonus protection is allocated and how your opponent is reacting. But, I mean, this team isn't going to beat anything really that much. Nest can start really ramping up damage if you're not careful, but otherwise just plan carefully, and because the team's pretty resilient, you can kind of plan for Scion to get his big hit on someone at the right moment. So, alright, so we're actually going... All my videos when I'm doing this kind of voiceover are 120% speed. This one, I think I put it up to 160% speed because we just saw this in the last video. You mark Darth Revan, you mark Basti, and the idea here was I knew my opponent had gotten a 55 on me in that front zone, and so not only that, so I knew that he had used a Galactic Legend on me, almost certainly, but not only that, I was convinced if he had all of his Galactic Legends in the back, then I don't think he would have come close to clearing me the way he did, and even if he did, I was pretty sure that I could squeak out the win. Even if I couldn't clear, I just have to be more efficient. So, using Sith Eternal here, pretty good trade in my opinion. I want to be efficient, right? That's what we're trying for right now, is to be efficient. So, took out their Darth Revan, and in the back the question was, how many Galactic Legends were back there? I was pretty sure 0. And it turned out that I was right. He has Bando back there, a Hux team, and some forgettables. There's the weird old Ben team with Spirit and Droideka. It's like... this is like the evade team. So there's Foresight on Spirit. The Droideka already has high evasion. And old Ben also gives evasion up to them on his... leadership. I guess it's not the buff evasion up, but he does give it. And so the idea here, the Night Sister Spirit would have worried me. The only way I do this with Nest, even though I'm Relic 7, is if Spirit is modded for speed and is relatively low Relic. So this is a Relic 2 Night Sister Spirit with speed mods, so she's not doing as much damage. And note that I was taking out Spirit first because she's the only real threat to me on this team, and if you can take out that Foresight, then she has the thing of ignoring defense, and if you can take the ignore defense out of the equation, then she's far less likely to one-shot your Nest. So 55 here, that's pretty fancy. Finally get some action with Nest. And now we've got, you guys remember the last match when I was facing Commander Luke. Again, these guys have no tenacity. This time, though, we did get the days off on Chewpio, which is huge. They didn't have any tenacity whatsoever on this team except for incidental tenacity. So you put the Foresight on, or the whatever it is, the stealth on everyone else except for BB-8. Let them hit BB-8 and just periodically cleanse him or her, however she or he or it identifies them. And anyways, you just keep chipping away at Chewpio until Chewpio's gone, or till the chances are spent. So this one is working out pretty well. I think the speeds were a little nicer. Last match, they had some incredibly, just really fast mods on CLS, and I think that kind of threw it into the works, threw gum in the works, threw work in the works, I don't know what I'm saying, guys. Something about working. So they've got Fin Poe, and you remember I already used my Han Solo team to be able to take out, I used Bam, or Bando, whatever you want to call him, with them, and so decided to take Vader here instead, just because I'm faster. Their Finn was, what, 308, I think, and so Thrawn was faster. He could go and just fracture Finn, and then Vader could go in and just pillage the rest of them. It was pretty fun. And now this is a fun thing. I decided to try using the Vader lead, or the Thrawn lead, just so we could do the half-step taunt, or the half-step moves, the Grand Admiral maneuver, or whatever it's called. And the idea here is to be able to mess around with my turn order so that Thrawn could get a maximum of turns to heal me in the end. And as it turned out, that worked out pretty well. I was maybe a little more awkward than I needed to be. I'm not experienced in doing it that method, but otherwise it works pretty well. The thing that I forgot too was Finn has that mass cleanse, and so we got rid of all the dots, and I was like, wait, where are they? Like, is that a visual bug? And then I realized Vader was not the lead, so the dots can actually just disappear, unfortunately. Now we're using Basti with Hoda and Cam, and as you can see, I didn't actually check the modding. As you can see, I didn't check the modding. That totally makes sense. Of course you can't see that, but I didn't check the modding on Red Trooper, but I would assume that Red Trooper would be harder to kill than that if he had all that health modded the way he technically should be, or theoretically should be, or should be. Judgment. I'm just being a judgy jerk, judgy a-hole. But anyways, we took them out pretty easy. Basti with Cam, guys. I'm excited for those of you who are getting a 7-star Cam. He is ridiculous if you can use him. In 3v3, he just does a lot of stuff. So over here we had this weird Phasma team with First Order Officer and Wampa, and poor old Dark Trooper, or poor old Wampa got deleted by Dark Trooper, as did the rest of the team. And so what we're doing, guys, is marching backwards. I have 3 Galactic Legends left, and we're just waiting. I'm trying to figure out, just trying to slowly carve away, a little bit like a mason works on a bust of someone. Like they just like slowly over time just chip away at these different teams, with the teams that you have available, whatever, like a mason will do. He's very cognizant of what teams he's working on now. So anyways, just trying to take out the teams that make the most sense, so then we can figure out which teams I want to use Galactic Legends against. And so you can see this Wampa with Stormtrooper Han is pretty nice. Han keeps getting healing immunity, and you realize, I mean, it's a little bit scary, but at the same time, he gets the healing immunity, but when he takes a turn, it disappears because he has the tank tech. So sometimes I decide not to heal Watt a little bit, just so that we can actually get other things going on, because it's not as much of a concern that Han can't heal, because he can. He just doesn't want to right now. He chooses not to. He doesn't need to, because he's about to take a turn. That's a pretty easy team. That team didn't have any dispels, so once Han did do his taunt, then every time he got hit, Wampa got 20% turn meter. It's crazy. Alright, so Bad Batch, a little awkward here because Dooku was just fast enough to go before my tech, but after my Echo. So Echo went, put all the debuffs on people, and then Dooku went and dispelled himself and went into stealth. So, trying to figure out what to do here. It was Gambit Fight Night, so that, we do the live show on Friday nights with a guest, and this time we had Calvin Awesome, and he is really good with Bad Batch, so I let him pull the strings, so to speak. I was happy to say that was mostly, this is how I would have done it, but keep in mind, so you want to avoid being hit back by Dooku, but you're in stealth this whole time, and so it's not as worrisome. And so all you're trying to do here is, B2 is just a sitting duck, just because he's got the stun on, he's got stun, but he's also got daze on him, so even when we're hitting other guys, it doesn't really hurt us that much, because he can't gain turn meter. But that being said, you just want to keep the pressure on. This was a fairly easy one. This team wasn't that difficult, as long as you can get Echo a turn in right behind or right before B2, then it's good. Now, here's the thumbnail story, folks. This is the fight against Darth Traya. I still had Kenobi and Cat, and I just summarily executed these guys. Like Nihilus, before he even took a turn, before anyone took a turn, besides Cat and Kenobi, I was just able to just go in and wipe Nihilus out. Poor ignominious death of Traya and company. So, in the back, he's got Negotiator with the man, this comp scares me. Like, I failed a couple times on it. I think kind of like when I quote-unquote shouldn't have failed, and that I think that's kind of mentally gone to me. So I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid, and we'll see how we actually do this time. So we've got Rey left, and I also have Jedi Master Luke as well. So just using Rey here. An interesting thing, guys, if it was a 5v5 match and he had all of the buffs on him and everything, that IG-11 would actually have an okay chance of being able to tank that whirlwind from Rey. So it's pretty interesting. You can see we're kind of being messed with a little bit with damage immunity, and that's fine. That's fine. I decided I didn't want to use my ultimate here just because that doesn't heal me. If I did a strong enough basic, I could do enough life drain that I could actually get to 56, which I did. So we got a 55 from Kenobi, a 56 from Rey, and now we've got Night Sisters left with, we could play Whack-A-Mole, and you'll note I'm a little bit weird with this just because, so Jedi Master Luke is the only one who can target outside of taunt, and so I don't know why I didn't just kill Talzin there. I was just messing around, I guess. So he stunned Daka, that's fine. I guess I was kind of waiting to increase their cooldowns. I don't know. This is the last fight of this match. Maybe I don't know. I don't feel like I'm playing it wrong, but I don't know why I didn't just take out Traya there, frankly. Maybe it was because I didn't want her to lose her ability block. That could have been it. I'm sure I had a reason, right? I would never do just something random like mash buttons or play poorly. That's I'm kidding, just to be clear. Old Ben getting some action though, taking out Talzin at least once. Now we got rid of Daka. That's pretty fancy. We're close to getting our contract, in fact, or whatever it's called. Jedi have contracts too, right? So trying to heal Ayla a little bit, heal Luke, and only succeeded in healing one of them. Who knows who finished with full banners. But we got through the squads, and that was actually fairly efficient. Check out the scores now, folks. 30-14 to some 29-something. So at this point, and he had already messaged me saying he had he couldn't beat Commander Luke. He said, well, maybe I have something random in my account that could beat Luke. And I mean, it's kind of a joke because that's not really how it works with Commander Luke. Whether either you have the team or you don't. Now, okay, let's pause it for just 1 second here, folks, because I want to explain kind of what's going on. So I'm taking my rebels here because both of my GET2 fleets are on defense. Pretty soon, the Executor is going to just change everything. So it should be interesting. But that being said, we are using rebels right now to take out a Negotiator, and it's pretty scary because you never know when Y-Wing's gonna go, when they're gonna taunt, etc. And so you can see that Anakin has already met he's already at the 40% mark of his health. And so I was like, man, what do I do? Do I want to just put him into stealth right now, or because eventually they're gonna put that unending loyalty back on him, or do I want to just shoot someone else? And I know that what's gonna happen next is kind of anticlimactic, but that's a really important thing to recognize is he's not dead yet, and you don't want to put him in stealth because then it adds another step to the whole process of taking him out eventually, and that is you have to, once he goes into stealth, Then they put Unending Loyalty back on him, so then you have to get him out of stealth and then hit him again and get him back into stealth before you can actually go. As opposed to if he's just sitting right here like this, out in the open without being in stealth, then you don't. There's one less action you have to take. There's one less piece of RNG. And so right here, you don't want to shoot him, even though you have that compelling flashing light from Biggs, just because you don't want him to go into stealth if you can help it until now. So now, all right, so Y-Wing taunted again, and now we can actually, gosh, they're not doing any debuffs to Biggs, so frustrating, but now we can dispel Y-Wing, get Anakin into stealth again, and then Plo came in, of all people, and I thought for a minute, I'm like, man, okay, so he came in and healed, but I don't think that changes anything. He put a taunt on someone I could dispel, and so I still had Cassian and Han just take Anakin out, and then after that, it's not too bad. So we want to get good banners, right? That's our practice right now. We're trying to get good banners where we can. So I'm shooting Rex right here just because there's Unending Loyalty on the Y-Wing, and they do their AoE, etc. We're just trying to. I didn't necessarily want the Y-Wing in stealth. I don't know. I don't like to kill the Y-Wing first, because then everyone else just shoots you back, because it gives them counter when Y-Wing dies. And so if you can just, I don't know, if you can make it happen. I don't know what I'm saying. If you can just take out the other ships around Y-Wing without much danger, then I would recommend doing that. So Fives is in, and Fives is close to being out. We don't want him to come in and do a huge AoE and take everyone out. So do the wiggle with Falcon finally to get some banners back, and really, I mean, this is about as smooth as it gets. Pretty nice result. 64 banners is something I will always take with that counter versus that counter. And now we have Finalizer versus Empire. So you want to make sure that Vader is not gaining a bunch of turn meters. So you mark him instantly. That TIE Bomber is going to start taunting. And so now the goal is you have to take out the TIE Bomb or the Sith Bomber. You want to focus someone down. You don't want to split your targets and hit you're like, oh shoot, I should have been attacking the other bomber, the TIE Bomber instead. So things are looking a little bit grim, I realize. So Vader there, Vader took a turn and tried to dispel things and give himself turn meter, and he's marked now, or whatever it is. He's got the target thing, and so he doesn't gain turn meter. And now, check this out though. So we have one target lock here. Vader prevents us from dispelling target lock, but we have something stronger than that. And that is the Ebon Hawk. And what happens with the Ebon Hawk is it dispels all buffs, but it also gets rid of target lock because of chaff, whatever that buff is. See that green buff on them, and that green buff means that they can't. They're immune to target lock, so it immediately just disappears. It's not there anymore. Chaff, whatever. CHAFF. It goes lots of F's there. It makes the target lock go away, and you might be saying like, Xaereth, stop caring about the target lock. Who cares? It's on one ship. But the target lock is the thing that triggers the TIE Bomber's taunt, and so now Vader is suddenly available to target and kill. So I should have probably done the other special there. I believe that would have been a better situation, but. Whatever. I just wanted to take out Vader if I could. So now shuttle's in, all those buffs on them, but we can take out the bomber first if we want. And I decided to just be mean to the shuttle and take away all their buffs real quick, just out of spite. I mean, really no great reason other than spite. And I mean, we're in a good situation. We could kind of play with our food a little bit anyways. So 166k finishes off the shuttle, and we get a 63. Not too bad for this round. Pretty good and efficient match, considering he had some good teams. He had a few fluff teams for sure. So not trying to claim a victory, a great, magnificent victory here. But I will say this was a pretty solid win. I think I made some good decisions here, and especially the fact that I didn't really scout my opponent. I think this went pretty well. Hard to tell for sure. So let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna let you go. Pretty quick video today, it looks like. So guys, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.